YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian we are doing a romance book haul. I have been getting a lot of mass market paperback romances lately, so I want to do a little book haul kind of showing off my finds. First up I have Heroine Complex by Sarah Kuhn. I have been wanting to read this so much, and I was at Vroman's, which is an awesome independent bookstore here in Los Angeles, and they had autographed copies, so I was like, what? Yes, please. Little tiny sign. It's not really something like, wow, cool signature, just a little thing. This is a story about a girl named Evie, and she is basically the personal assistant to a superhero, and all of the craziness that entails, and it sounds so good. I'm just gonna read you one line out of the blurb that sounds astronomically awesome. Now, it's up to her to contend with murderous cupcakes, nosy gossip bloggers, and supernatural karaoke battles, all while juggling unexpected romance. I am living for this. It sounds so funny and so cool, and personally I've spent many years of my life being an executive assistant, so I get the assistant struggle. So I think this is a book that's right up my alley. Next up I have Viper Moon by Lee Rowland. This is, I guess it's part of the Earth Witches series. And you know what? I've been so in the mood for witches lately. I haven't read enough books about witches, so I'm kind of really feeling this at the moment. This is about a woman named Cassandra, and she is a witch, and she basically rescues kidnapped children. And I guess one of the detectives, human detectives from where she lives, his 12-year-old sister goes missing, so she has to team up with him to find this kid. It's definitely a premise that I'm totally into, and there's witches. I've been totally into witches right now, so I'm excited. Next up, I have Touch of Evil and Touch of Darkness by C.T. Adams and Kathy Clamp. This is book 1 and 2 of this series, and I just happened to find both of them together, so I was like, well, now I have both books. This is about a woman named Kate, and she gets bitten by a vampire, and I guess she had some psychic powers of her own, because when those powers combine with vampireness, she becomes really powerful. And all of a sudden she's gonna be Queen of Vampires, but that's not what she wants. And then there's a sexy fireman she's supposed to get with, and I'm assuming they get together, but there is drama that happens in the second book because they're supposed to get married, but apparently he has a werewolf ex-girlfriend who's stalking her. So, I mean, you know, everyone has their problems. Yeah, it seems like a cool new series. It kind of reminds me of an Alona Andrews vibe. So I was excited, at least excited enough to try one out and see if I like it. Next up, I have My Fair Lover by Nicole Jordan. It is a goal of mine this year to read more historical romances because I never do it. I never think I like them. And then I've read a lot of historical things lately, and I really liked them. So I'm thinking this is just a preconceived notion of mine. So I definitely want to read more historical romance. This one in particular looks so juicy. It's got such a bodice ripper cover. I mean, he's already topless. They're gonna bang. And I'm pretty sure there's pirates in this. Awesome. I think if it's historical and there's pirates, then I'm excited. I think there's gonna be action, which will help me really get into the genre. Next up, I have 2 books by Rachel Gibson. The first is Not Another Bad Date and True Love and Other Disasters. Both of these are obviously romantic comedies, and I actually got both of these books for free. It was at a library book sale and they had a free shelf, so I was like, oh, I can just take these. Awesome, I'm taking them. I've never read anything by Rachel Gibson, but I kind of was interested in reading something like this type of romance, where it's kind of oh, you'd go to the grocery store and find these novels. I wanted to see what the hype is about, because these ones are always the ones that you see more wide released to everywhere. So I was interested in kind of getting into this. Yeah. So, I mean, if I don't like them, I didn't lose any money, so I'm not really gonna be heartbroken, but I'm willing to check them out. They seem kind of funny. I mean, at least they have funny titles, so there's that. So speaking of romantic comedies, I also happened to get Simply Irresistible by Jill Shavis, And this is another book I got for free because they just had so many romances on the free shelf. And it's about a woman who loses her boyfriend and her job, and so she leaves Los Angeles and she goes to, I guess, Washington to inherit something from her mother, and she's starting over, and then there's like a sexy contractor. So I kind of really like starting over stories, especially when the girl's like lost everything, because then she gets to start fresh, and I kind of like, you know, like the underdog. I want to root for her to like get her shit together. So I don't know, I got it for free. It seems kind of fun. Next up, I have Zen and the Art of Vampires by Katie McAllister. I bought this simply because it had a funny title. It's about a woman who is coming up on her 40th birthday, and she's still single, but she wants, you know, the house in the suburbs and kids and a husband and all that kind of stuff. And so she decides to go on a singles tour, and she winds up in Iceland, and then she meets some vampire dudes. So I don't know, I'm kind of interested that it's also an older heroine, because so many of these heroines in like romance novels are like 23, and like 23-year-olds are stupid a lot of times. So I'm excited to see a more mature woman doing this. So I don't know. Also, Zen and the Art of Vampires is just a silly title, so it's a cover buy, totally. Last up, I have Suddenly Royal by Nicole Chase. It's about this woman named Samantha, and she is down on her luck, and she's struggling to make ends meet while going to school, taking care of her siblings, taking care of her father, and all of a sudden she gets invited to dinner at this duchess's house. I'm not really sure how that happens, but apparently she's inheriting like a large estate in this other country. And then like there's a prince who's kind of a cad, and then he meets her and he's like, oh, I like you, and she's like, you're an asshole, and then they fall in love. So I kind of like these rags to riches stories quite a bit, and I mean, it seems like a cute story. It seems like it might be actually kind of be good, so I'm excited I found it. Woo, romance. So yeah, I've been collecting all these little mass market paperbacks lately. And I don't know, I'm kind of super excited because I want to try new things, because I've kind of been like stuck in my ways when it comes to romance, because I know I love paranormal romance, and so I kind of just always gravitate towards that, but I want to try different things this year, so hence I've just been collecting them when I can. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, which ones are your favorites and least favorites. I want to know what you think. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!